On this episode of ResiWeek, we talk consumer audio growth, warming your home with shades, and Access Network's new switches. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 212. Check your ego.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Blackwire Design, the go-to distributor for the CI industry with an extensive product lineup backed by unmatched sales and system support.
and by
Just Add Power, the global leader in video over IP solutions with systems that give you easy installation, unmatched scalability, and outstanding performance.
Welcome to ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt D. Scott for AVNation.tv. And this week, I'm pleased to be joined by my good friend, Jamie Breezemeister. She is the CEO, otherwise known as Boss Lady at Integration Controls. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
You thought I was going to forget that, but it's in your show notes.
Boss ladies there all the time, huh?
And good to see you. And we also have John Clancy. He is the VP of Residential at Crestron. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Let's jump right in to a story that comes to us from CE Pro and Bob Archer. Research is suggesting that the demand for consumer audio products is growing. Future Source, a consumer tracker, is stating that audio products are continuing to grow as there is new interest in new generation hardware solutions. They do or are quite bullish on headphones, but we're not going to deal with that too much. Jimmy, I kind of want to start with you on this one. They're stating in this report that the home audio market is continuing to grow. It's got year-on-year increase of essentially 21%. Now, the concerning part for us is that hi-fi products are down 9%. But the category in general is up 21. When you look at this, when you read this report, how do home technology professionals go about trying to take advantage of those, dare I say, basics, those basic sales, those, wireless speakers, those basic sound bars, all of those little products that can be great filler projects for an integration firm. How do you take advantage of these kind of numbers when you see 21% up?
Right. Well, I think advantage is in thinking long term and building a client base over time. I often wonder how we can get someone to buy into a hi-fi system if they've never experienced pretty good, somewhat easy to use, relatively okay, or mass marketed audio. I can imagine myself, if I were new and never knew anything about this industry, coming in to speak to integrators, seeing the thing that I see all the time versus the thing they're trying to sell me, outside of experiencing the difference. And of course, there's a price tag to that. I see that it kind of is a way to whet their palate, to warm them up to the future, to maybe baby step them into a bigger system or something a bit more high performing. So a suggestion I would say is to think longer term. Work on building the relationship. These kind of products, while they have a low margin, you can get in and get out and be done in a day. You don't have to tweak it. You don't have to stand around and listen to multiple demo sets. It's something that can be done relatively quickly. So filler work is pretty important. And I say go for it, but think with a longer term strategy instead of all about the bottom line and focusing, unless you choose to focus your entire business model on that.
Very good. I like that. John, as you scroll through the article, they specifically call it Dolby Atmos. Now, inside the channel, we've been super excited about Atmos for a while. If you've ever sat through a really good Atmos demo, it is phenomenal. But it's also, unless you have that demo, kind of hard to demo or experience. Is there value in HTPs specifically targeting like a technology as a sales tactic, as a marketing tactic, to go and revisit all those existing customers that you've done 5.1 for or 7.1 for and say, hey, you need to upgrade to Dolby Atmos?
Yeah, look, I think, and Jamie hit right on it. I think that gaining the confidence, right, is really the first portion of that long-term relationship, right? So especially if you're going back to upgrade existing customers, you have that relationship. I think audio has kind of, at least the convenience of audio, especially with our phones and streaming services and smart speakers, have spoiled us in a sense of building all off of convenience and not necessarily quality, right? So being able to demonstrate that firsthand and provide an end user who may not even be able to understand what you're talking about when it comes to Dolby Atmos or anything like that, for instance, is key, because what they don't know is really there, to try to really hurt them long term. It's what they don't understand. It's the convenience over quality, and when they hear quality for the first time, or they hear that Dolby Atmos demo for the first time, it is eye-opening. And I think that that whole principle of demonstrating that, or finding a way to demonstrate that, is absolutely something to build on.
Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.